tributes continue to pour in for the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu from far and wide. The Arch has been described as a man of honor who played a big role religiously and politically. While he is recognized globally, some of his work started in Johannesburg, where him and his wife Leah Tutu resided in Orlando West. Newzroom Afrika Sipha Kema joins us outside the Tutu home in Orlando West. Sipha, very good afternoon to you. Reactions have been pouring in, and a lot of people just reflecting on the massive role that Archbishop Desmond Tutu played. What have you heard from his neighbours in Orlando West?
Well, certainly, Mpo. I mean, as we know, it's already Vilakazi Street, especially during this time of the year, is a hive of activity. But with also tourists being able to come in this year, in this festive season, we've seen them coming in, of course, to pay their respect by laying flowers and wreaths by the entrance gate here in Orlando West. Now, just before we speak to one of their neighbors, Umamupinda Majola, we're going to Umamupaula Majola. We actually, I just want to give you just a brief summary and remind you of the work that the Arch has done in Johannesburg as such. Now, of course, he started in and being ordained the Bishop of Johannesburg. That was in 1984 till 1985. That's when, of course, he was made the Archbishop of the city of Cape Town. That is when, of course, they moved to Cape Town. But the significance of us being here in this residence is that, you know, the Tutu family resided here from 1975, and this house still remains part of the Tutu family. Now, someone that's actually going to give us more information as a neighbor on how it felt like being, the neighbor, the kindness that we hear people talking about regarding the Arch, of course, the man of honor that he was, of course, as well. Mampola, mama, about, Arch as in neighbor yakho.
Thank you for having me. Babu Tutu, he was such a kind, good-hearted man. When I came here to inherit the house, because it used to be my grandparents' house, they came here in 1934. When I moved in, I found them already here in Orlando West. They are the people that welcomed me. To them, the Tutus, to me, they are like a second family. And to their kids, I'm like a big sister. Whatever they do or events they have in the house, I was the first to know. Mommy will tell me that we're going to have visitors from America or from when, or we're going to have a party, so you need to come and give me a hand. So he was so kind. I like him because whatever he taught us was to have love, unconditional love. We must love each other. So I hope that every one of the neighbors and the people and our children that are growing in this area to take that seed and let it nurture and grow the love that he taught us to have, Ubuntu, for each other. So we are sadly missing him. You know, it has affected so much. We didn't think it would be so soon, though he was sick for a very long time. He was a very kind man. He didn't discriminate or, pinpoint that this is a Zulu or wherever. We were all his children. The whole street knows about him, because at times they used to cook a lot of food, and then the mommy would send Mpo or Tandi to go and knock at the houses, call them that we're having a family get-together. That means we are part of them. That's how we became family to the Tutus. So it's heartbreaking that Tata has left us. And in June, when he came to bury his sister, I was down with COVID. I think if ever I was not sick with COVID, that would be my last time I saw him. But it's so unfortunate that we couldn't meet.
Thank you so much. That's Mamupaula Majola, and she's the neighbor who stays actually right across the Tutu residence, who has been a neighbor since they moved in 1975, giving us, of course, those fond memories that she has of the Arch during his time when he lived, permanently resided here. Now, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa has actually announced that he will be giving the Arch an official funeral, Category 1 that is, and has said that as from today, all South African flags, is not just in South Africa, but across, the globe, where that's where they'll fly half-mast. Now, also, I just want to give you a heads up. I mean, as you know that there's special programs in place, especially in town near St. Mary's Cathedral, where the Archbishop was ordained for the first time as the Archbishop of Johannesburg, as the Bishop of Johannesburg, rather. So Wanderers Street will be blocked off between De Villiers Street and Plain Street, and officers will redirect traffic along Lillian Ngoyi Street between Risick Street and Klein Street, as well as Plain Street and the MTN taxi rank. Now, this will be every day until the funeral from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Also, those who would like to go and pay their respects at the St. Mary's Cathedral in the CBD, the access routes that they can use at St. Mary's Cathedral is traveling on the M1. You take Smith Street, which is an easterly direction, and you turn right into Klein Street, and then also going into Rahima Musa Street, and then you'll find yourself at Wanderers Street. And then those who are coming from the M2 can take Risick Street, and also going to Plain Street, and the cathedral will be on Plain Street in Wanderers as well, of course. So those are some of the changes to the roads and the road closures that a lot of people need to ensure that they take in, because this is also to ensure that they avoid any traffic between those streets, and that the traffic can move easily between the 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's when people are actually told they can come and, lay the flowers like they do so now. I mean, we are seeing a family also coming out, just like we've seen other families coming during the day to pay their respects to the Arch, of course. As you can see, there's the gentleman lighting a candle in honor of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, but also placing a flower here. I mean, we've seen people coming and going, not just South Africans, tourists who also have come here. We also see some who are lined up coming to give their respects to the Arch. That shows you the kind of man he was and the reach that the Arch had, of course, not just in our country, but being recognized globally. I mean, he is, of course, a Nobel Prize winner as well. So that should give you the extent of his work, not just religiously, but politically as well. Infusing those ideologies from African ideology into what one would say is the Western, religious ideology, bringing them both together. You heard from Umampinda Majola saying that, actually Mampola Majola saying that one thing he taught many people, especially his neighbors, was Ubuntu, loving unconditionally. The fact that he was also a person who could give out freely.
Some very touching moments as we take stock of those live visuals coming out of Orlando West in Soweto, outside of the home of the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. Our Newzroom Afrika reporter Sipha Kema bringing us the latest, speaking to neighbours. Of course, this is something that we will continue to do throughout the course of the next few days.